Hello and welcome back, beautiful souls. My name is Annie Henderson. I'm a life coach here in North Texas, and I'm so glad that you're back. Today's topic is a deeply personal and significant one, and that involves coming out to those in your life, whether it's your parents or your adult children. And everyone's experience is going to be unique based on the background, based on the communication and the relationships that you already have. If you're navigating this journey, know that you are not alone, and I'm here to help guide and support you along the way. Coming out is a courageous step in your journey. However, the reactions of your parents can be loaded with guilt, anxiety, uncertainty, and that can cause us to stall out, stagnate, procrastinate, hinder our own progress and journey. Today, I want to share some strategies to help you navigate this process and this journey with resilience and compassion. Number one is prepare yourself. Before initiating this conversation, take time to go through your own feelings and think into the future about all the variety of ways that they may react to this news. By preparing for their wide range of responses, you get to prepare yourself mentally, emotionally. Sometimes it might be having someone supportive that they know what you're about to go through so they can be there for you before, during, and after. It could be reaching out to a counselor or a life coach like myself so that you can role play, so that you can have some tools and strategies to calm your nervous system, to practice, so that instead of reacting, you're able to pause and choose how you want to move forward. Number two is choose the right timing and setting. Pick a calm and private setting to have this conversation. Choose a time when you and your parents can have the conversation without being interrupted. Same thing goes with your children or anyone else that you're wanting to come out to. Now, I'm specifically mentioning talking in person. And some of us might have a relationship where we can do that. I personally was still growing and evolving. And at the time, some people I came out to via text. Some people I came out to in person. Some people I wrote a letter to and I mailed it to them. So knowing, one, how you will respond and react, because some of us have this fear, or maybe we have not grown enough where we can communicate without losing our train of thought, without backing down, without being interrupted and losing the direction and where we were wanting to go with the conversation. It might involve breaking down and crying or getting angry and losing what we were wanting to say and instead reacting. So definitely think through that. Think what's best for you. Number three is express yourself clearly. Be honest and clear with your parents or your children. Brene Brown says, clear is kind. So helping other people understand your perspective. It doesn't mean that they will agree with you. A lot of times we've been able to wrestle and process our coming out journey over years or decades or months. And while some of the people we're telling will be like, I knew this all along, some people will have a lot of their own religious fears, beliefs, fears about how others will treat you and what this will do for your life. And it's going to take a while for them to process that. So realizing, okay, that might be one of the reactions of them. They could totally support me and already know. They could lose their minds. They could be silent. They could disown you, right? I have seen all of these play out. But one thing I can let you know as a life coach is I've never had a client that has come out and regretted it. Usually it sounds something like, I wish I would have done this sooner. Number 4 is set boundaries. I think this one is the most important one. Communicate your boundaries and let the other person know what you need from them, what you expect from them. Now, remember, this is how boundaries work and how they don't work. We can ask, we can share, we cannot control other people. So just because you set a boundary doesn't mean they will respect that boundary. They might push against it. They might tell you how to live your own life. And it is up to you to hold your boundary. They can choose how they react. You get to choose how you want to respond. It could be leaving the conversation if you do not feel safe. It could be scheduling another conversation. The boundary can look so many ways. If you're a people pleaser, know that boundaries are not selfish. They're not mean. They're not cruel. No matter what the family says in response to your boundary, boundaries are healthy. Boundaries are safe. Usually the people that are the most upset about your boundaries are upset because they are the ones that benefited the most from you having none. So if they want to be in your life, they might have to adjust. They might have to take a hard look inside. They might have to get coaching or counseling themselves, but that is their choice. You can't make them do that. But you can say, this is the respect I deserve. If you choose to speak to me this way, I choose to not come over. So notice you're in charge of your boundaries. They can look how you want, but boundaries don't work if you set them up and then don't hold them. Very, very important to remember. The more you set a boundary and let someone run over them over and over again, it just teaches them that when you set a boundary, you don't hold them. They just have to push harder the next time and they get what they want. So you don't want to teach them that when you set a boundary, it really means nothing. So this is something you can find a coach to work with on boundaries and how to set them calmly, right? How to set boundaries with a smile. Sometimes you can set a boundary without even telling the other person. My mom even talked about this before. And it worked for them. Some people it'll work for, and some people it won't. But when they went over to her in-laws, they would talk poorly about my father. This was the story. And then they would excuse themselves and leave. I don't even know if they actually addressed it in the moment. They would just be like, oh, we gotta go. Come on, kids. And then they came over again. It happened again. Oh, we're gonna head out. Bye-bye. Right? Eventually, they stopped mentioning that one thing or saying this kind of and talking about it this way. So sometimes we can set a boundary. When I block someone on Facebook, I don't have to give them an official form and let them know that you are being blocked. Do this, or else I will block you. Some people do not need that from us. Facebook, I have 5,000 Facebook friends. I don't know them all. And if they are in my space, and they don't know what I'm about and who I am and how I approach life, then they don't know me well enough, right? They don't need that. They don't deserve that. You can be family with someone outside of social media and block them on social media. Social media gets to be your safe space in your world. So if it's a negative, fearful space, block that, clean it out. Some of you might have some hesitancies and fears around doing that. If so, know that you can always start a secondary account. So if you fear blocking somebody and then you get into people pleasing and what they're going to ask about it and, oh no, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings, just let that one be inactive. Start one with a new email, a fake name if you want, and use that to start following people that you trust and love and that have similar values to you, and authors and people that make you feel authentic and whole, and you can be your total self without people pleasing. That was a little bonus section. I hope that helps, and I hope you do it. If you do that and you haven't yet, let me know. Come and celebrate with me. I will cheer you on. Number 5 is just a reminder to be patient. This could be new information to them. I previously had worked with a client, and it wasn't her that was coming out, but their child came out, and she was kind of in her head and worrying about sharing it with her parents, right? So knowing that they have a lot of domestication, they have a lot of beliefs and fears that were passed down from generation to generation. If you've heard of the thought, breaking a generational curse, this is kind of that thing. What is something, it might be you're breaking a generational curse of this belief was passed down. I'm saying this is ridiculous. This is not a healthy belief system. I don't agree with it. It doesn't mean anything personally to those people, but this is not how I want to live my life. And you can break that generational curse for you and the people after you. So be patient, have compassion, set those boundaries. Remember that everyone's journey is unique. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. As I was saying, I wrote a letter to someone in my family. I text different family members. It depends on your relationship, your comfort level. Some of you still take things personally, right? You make assumptions. You have negative self-talk. And if that's the case, reach out for some one-on-one coaching. Let's work on your confidence and your self-esteem even before you have some of these conversations. Or if you've already had these conversations, they went horribly, and now you're tempted to either go back in the closet or you do a lot of people pleasing to try to keep the peace with these people, reach out. If it's something that you are wanting to work on, then I would be glad to help you with this. Come back next Monday. We will delve into some self-care strategies to help you along this coming out process. Now, if you've already come out, but maybe you just did it and now you're still in anxiety, you don't have boundaries, you don't have some tools to help you process and heal and continue growing. Like me, I came out, I was still a massive people pleaser. Come back, join us next Monday for these self-care strategies. If you are someone who's struggling with self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, horrible self-talk, check out my video about limiting beliefs. I also have a course that you can check out and work through, right? If one-on-one coaching isn't for you yet, check out that course. It's self-paced. You can go through it and start to work on these limiting beliefs that are holding you back, whether it's work, relationships, or moving forward with coming out. Really being able to identify and heal and grow in these struggling areas, in these thoughts that you are believing and recycling over and over again, that will help. So check that out. Comment below if you have already come out. Who was the biggest, toughest individual that you had blown up in your mind of this is my big Everest that I have to have this conversation for? And if you haven't come out yet, who are you most worried about coming out to? Let me know in the comments.